Apparently, Gemini knows my favorite foods. I'm in LA right now and I want my usual, so let's see if Gemini really knows exactly what I want. I'm in the mood for some lunch. Where should I eat in LA based on what you know about me? Yeah, all these places look delicious, but there's this one that has orange chicken and spicy edamame. Let's go, that's the one. Sheesh. Wow, that looks amazing. Woo, Gemini, you did it again. That right there is exact.
That right there is a 30-second advertisement that just detonated Paige Bueckers' carefully cultivated public image. Orange chicken, spicy edamame, and an AI assistant named Gemini making restaurant recommendations. Seems harmless enough, right? Except the comment section looks like a war zone. And the backlash isn't coming from random trolls. It's coming from the exact community that Paige has spent years positioning herself as an ally to.
And you've got, on the heels of the Caitlin Clark hand incident, in which Caitlin Clark literally clowned the Fever for putting right there, new hand alert, put what looks like a fake hand on the biggest star in women's basketball right here. I said the other day, they put the Luke Skywalker Empire Strikes Back mechanical hand right there on Caitlin Clark, and she called him out. And then we literally had...
Let's back up. Because before we get to Paige Bueckers getting absolutely torched for promoting artificial intelligence, we need to talk about what's been happening across the entire WNBA. The Indiana Fever just got caught twice in 1 week, using AI-generated content on their social media. First incident. They posted what appeared to be a photoshopped hand on Caitlin Clark. Not just any photoshopped hand. People are calling it the Luke Skywalker mechanical hand from Empire Strikes Back. And Caitlin herself called them out publicly for it. Then, literally days later, the Fever posted again. Another image that the entire internet immediately identified as AI-generated slop. Front Office Sports wrote an actual article about it. The Athletic covered it. This isn't some niche controversy brewing in a corner of Twitter. This is mainstream sports media asking out loud, what is happening with the WNBA and artificial intelligence?
So, we've got Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum is the first female pro athlete to launch an AI digital twin. Okay. Well, Paige Bueckers. Fresh off of watching Lauren Betts dominate the dream, fully exposing Paige Bueckers' girlfriend as a fraudulent #1 over.
And it's not just the Fever's social media team making questionable decisions. Kelsey Plum, all-star guard, established veteran, someone with actual leverage in sponsorship negotiations, just became the first female professional athlete to launch an AI digital twin. An AI digital twin. Let that sink in for a second. We're talking about creating a computer-generated version of yourself that can theoretically interact with fans, do appearances, generate content, all without the actual human being present. Now here's where this gets complicated. The WNBA has spent the last 5 years building a brand identity around authenticity, player empowerment, and social justice advocacy. These aren't just marketing buzzwords. Players like Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and Enika Ogwumike have put their careers on the line for causes they believe in. The league's entire cultural positioning is built on being the opposite of the corporate, sanitized PR speak version of professional sports.
Keeping it real. You're not a man. There. I said it out loud. I said it out loud. What are they going to do? Cancel me? F these folks. Wow. Destroyed. I mean, destroyed. Ew. You're selling AI like it's a magic fix, but ignoring the real downsides: job loss, bias, misuse. White girl will promote anything for money. Damn! How about this? Typical rich white woman promoting the destruction of our environment for a quick check. This is disappointing.
So when Paige Bueckers posts that Gemini ad, the response is immediate and brutal. Ew. You're selling AI like it's a magic fix, but ignoring the real downsides. Job loss, bias, misuse. That's one of the tamer comments. Another one. White girl will promote anything for money. Then it escalates. Rich white woman promoting the destruction of our environment for a quick check. This is disappointing. This is gross. But here's the comment that really cuts deep. Once upon a time, she stood on stage and advocated for black women in sports, and not many would. And now she's promoting the use of generative AI that is directly leading to the destruction of black and brown communities. That's not a random hater. That's someone who believed in Paige's activism, who saw her as an ally, who is now feeling betrayed. And they're not alone.
Gross. Woo! They have... Man. It is crushed. They're getting crushed. Everything. Once upon a time, she stood on stage and advocated for black women in sports when not many would, and now she's promoting the use of generative AI that is directly leading to the destruction of black and brown community. What? Okay. I mean, it's destroying everybody, but fine. Okay. Just one section of the world is getting affected by this. God, make everything about race.
The pile-on continues. Promoting AI slop while talking like you're black the whole time. Laughing my ass off. Another. I get getting money, dude, but have standards. Then this one. You better ball out tonight after uploading this bullshit that's actively killing the planet and making kids dumb as fuck. Notice the pattern here. These aren't criticisms about the quality of the ad or the product itself. These are moral judgments. People aren't saying bad commercial. They're saying you violated our trust. They're saying you're not who we thought you were. They're saying you chose money over principles. And here's what makes this particularly brutal for Paige. She's not even in the WNBA yet. She's still at UConn. She's still building her brand, still establishing her identity, still trying to position herself for what everyone expects to be a transformative professional career. And she just walked face first into a controversy that questions her authenticity at the exact moment when authenticity is her most valuable asset.
The WNBA Chet Holmgren. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I get money, dude, but have standards. Wow. You better ball out tonight after uploading this bullshit that's actively killing the planet and making kids dumb as F. Oh, this is great, man. This is wild. It's crazy. Wow. I got destroyed. The concept of y'all trying to be fake woke baiting on AI, then using Twitter. I mean, okay. Honestly. Wow, destroyed.
Now, the response on social media gets even more pointed. Someone posts, "This is y'all's ally, activist of the century." The sarcasm is dripping. Another comment. The concept of y'all trying to be fake woke, baiting on AI, then using Twitter. Pointing out the hypocrisy of criticizing AI while using platforms that are themselves heavily AI dependent. But then there's this exchange that perfectly captures the impossible position these players are in. One comment says, "Paige, chat, how can I be as good as CC?" And the response, formatted like an AI chatbot. "Chat, I'm afraid that will not be possible." Even in the middle of a controversy about AI, people are using AI humor to mock her comparison to Caitlin Clark. Someone else writes, "There's WNBA chat home grin," referring to the Chat GPT-style interface. The jokes are brutal because they're layered. They're not just making fun of the ad, they're making fun of her perceived inadequacy compared to Caitlin Clark, while simultaneously roasting her for promoting the very technology being used to mock her.
I am's who I said I am's. Blood, send it, bro. Oh, yeah. The AI in Paige is popping out. That's crazy. That's crazy. Getting crushed. Girl, delete. Woo! This is y'all's ally activist of the century. Oh, man. What in the world? Ew. Unfollow. Yikes. This effing sucks. AI slop. AI is not for us, Paigey. It's evil. Man, the wokes, they'll turn on you in a minute. In a minute. Never woke enough. You cannot be.
Here's what's fascinating about this situation. The source video we're analyzing is from a channel called Black and White Sports, a commentator who has been covering WNBA controversies all season. And even he seems somewhat surprised by the ferocity of the backlash. He's reading these comments with a mix of shock and amusement, because what's happening to Paige Bueckers is exactly what he's been warning about for months. The WNBA created a fan base that holds players to incredibly high moral standards. They built their brand on activism, on speaking truth to power, on standing up for marginalized communities. And now that same fan base is turning that moral framework against players who make decisions they view as hypocritical. Listen to how the commentator describes it. Man, the wokes, they'll turn on you in a minute. Never woke enough, you cannot be. Then he breaks down Paige's position. She checks all the boxes. I mean, she's not technically checking Brittany Griner boxes, because she's not the Brittany Griner trifecta. She's not black, female, and lesbian. But she's as close as you can get. I mean, she's lesbian and dating a black woman. So that's 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And his conclusion. Agenda everybody. No, the woke mob said that's not enough. You used the AI, now we're burning it down.
Oh, the box. I mean, she's not technically checking Brittany Griner boxes because she's not the Brittany Griner trifecta. She's not black, female, and lesbian, but she's as close as you can get. I mean, she's lesbian and dating a black woman. So that's, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Agenda everybody. No, the woke said that's not enough. You used AI. Now we're burning it down. You know my biggest issue with AI? It's simple. It can make anybody look like they're doing anything and saying anything. And it's going to take jobs from people that need jobs. That's my issue. That, and I don't need to see dead actors acting again. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out.
Now, let's talk about what AI actually represents in this context. Because the commentator makes a point that cuts through all the environmental arguments and job displacement concerns. He says, "My biggest issue with AI, it's simple. It can make anybody look like they're doing anything and saying anything. And it's going to take jobs from people that need jobs. That's my issue. That, and I don't need to see dead actors acting again." That's actually a more nuanced take than most of the comment section is offering. He's not saying AI is evil incarnate. He's saying it has specific, legitimate problems. The potential for deepfakes and misinformation. The displacement of workers, and the ethical questions around digital resurrection of deceased performers. But the WNBA fanbase isn't making nuanced arguments right now. They're in full moral outrage mode. And that's because the league and its players have spent years training fans to view every decision through a social justice lens. Every sponsorship deal is scrutinized. Every public statement is analyzed for coded language. Every partnership is evaluated based on the company's values and practices.
Really clown the Fever for putting right there, new hand alert, put what looks like a fake hand on the biggest star in women's basketball right here. I said the other day, they put the Luke Skywalker Empire Strikes Back mechanical hand right there on Caitlin Clark, and she called him out. And then we literally had...
Which brings us back to the Indiana Fever and the Caitlin Clark hand incident. Because this isn't happening in a vacuum. The Fever's social media team apparently thought it would be clever or efficient to use AI-generated imagery for posts about their biggest star. And Caitlin Clark, who is not particularly known for calling out her own organization publicly, felt compelled to say something about it. Think about what that means. Caitlin Clark is in her rookie season. She's navigating the pressure of being the most hyped prospect in WNBA history. She's dealing with physical play, veteran players testing her, media scrutiny unlike anything the league has seen before. And she still found it necessary to publicly criticize her own team's social media strategy. That tells you how seriously players are taking this AI issue. It's not just about bad Photoshop or lazy content creation. It's about authenticity. It's about the perception that organizations are cutting corners, using technology to replace genuine human effort and creativity.
Violated. There's articles being wrote about this, folks, which is kind of shocking considering the way the WNBA media wants to protect every player and every team in this league. By the way, we got some YouTubers jumping into that these days. Oh, no. Said it out loud. Anyway.
And then the Fever did it again. Just days after Caitlyn called them out, they posted another image that was immediately identified as AI-generated. Front Office Sports ran with the headline, Indiana Fever being accused of using AI again on social media just days after Caitlyn Clark called it out. This isn't incompetence. This is either defiance or complete tone deafness. Either the Fever's social media team doesn't care that their star player publicly criticized them, or they genuinely don't understand why this is a problem. Neither explanation is particularly flattering. And the commentator's reaction says it all. Annihilated. There's articles being wrote about this, folks, which is kind of shocking considering the way that WNBA media wants to protect every player and every team in this league.
Do what I needed. And I got spicy edamame too. Shout out Chin Chin in LA. This is the most perfect meal. I love Gemini's Rec this time. What do you think I should try next in LA?
My God.
So here's the broader question. Why is the WNBA, players, teams, everyone, embracing AI so aggressively right now? The commentator asks it directly at the beginning. Was AI part of the CBA and we didn't know about it? Did AI write the CBA? Did AI negotiate the CBA? He's being sarcastic, but there's a real question embedded in that sarcasm. The WNBA just negotiated a new collective bargaining agreement. Players are making more money than ever before. The league is expanding, viewership is up, sponsorship deals are rolling in. This should be a moment of triumph. Instead, we're watching a league that built its brand on authenticity and human connection start outsourcing that connection to algorithms and artificial intelligence. Kelsey Plum's digital twin can theoretically do fan interactions without Kelsey Plum being present. The Fever's social media can generate content without actual photographers or graphic designers. Paige Bueckers can let Gemini pick her lunch, and the fan base that the WNBA cultivated, progressive, socially conscious, highly engaged, is watching this happen and asking, what happened to the values you claim to represent? Because here's the thing about building a brand on moral principles. You don't get to turn that off when it becomes inconvenient or unprofitable. The WNBA spent years telling fans that they were different from other leagues, that they cared about more than just basketball, that they stood for something beyond entertainment. And now, when players take sponsorship deals with AI companies, or teams use AI-generated content, or the league embraces technology that threatens the jobs of the very creative professionals who helped build their media presence, fans feel betrayed. Not disappointed, not annoyed, betrayed. That's the word that keeps appearing in these comments, betrayal. Because the implicit promise was, we're in this together, we share values, we're building something meaningful. And AI represents the opposite of that promise. It's corporate efficiency over human creativity. It's algorithmic optimization over authentic connection. It's profit maximization over principle. Now, is that a fair characterization of what AI actually is or does? That's debatable. But it doesn't matter if it's fair. What matters is that's how the WNBA's core fan base perceives it. And perception is reality in brand management. Look at how the commentator describes the response to Paige's ad. Destroyed. I mean, destroyed. He's not exaggerating. The comments section is genuinely hostile. These aren't casual fans expressing mild disapproval. These are people who feel personally let down by someone they viewed as an ally. Once upon a time, she stood on stage and advocated for black women in sports, and not many would. That comment contains so much. It's acknowledging that Paige did something meaningful, something that required courage, and then it's saying, and you threw that away for a Google sponsorship check. Whether that's a fair assessment is almost beside the point. The perception exists, and in the social media age, especially within the WNBA's highly engaged fan base, perception spreads fast and hardens quickly. Here's what makes this particularly complicated for someone like Paige Bueckers. She's not a veteran player with an established brand and financial security. She's a college athlete who, until very recently, couldn't even profit from her name, image, and likeness. The NIL era opened up sponsorship opportunities that didn't exist for previous generations of college players. So when Google comes calling with a Gemini partnership, that's real money. That's generational wealth potentially. That's the kind of deal that can set up your family, fund your post-basketball career, give you options that most college athletes never get. But the WNBA fanbase doesn't want to hear about financial pragmatism. They want ideological purity. They want their heroes to turn down money if accepting it means compromising values. And that's an incredibly difficult standard to meet, especially for someone who hasn't even started their professional career yet. The commentator makes this point when he talks about Paige's identity. She checks all the boxes. He's recognizing that Paige has positioned herself, or been positioned by media and fans, as someone who represents progressive values. She's openly gay, she's in an interracial relationship, she's spoken about social justice issues, she's done everything the WNBA's culture says you're supposed to do. And it still wasn't enough, because she took an AI sponsorship. And in the eyes of the fan base, that one decision erased everything else. Now, let's talk about what this means for the league going forward. Because this isn't just about Paige Bueckers, or the Indiana Fever, or Kelsey Plum. This is about a fundamental tension in how the WNBA operates. The league wants to grow. Growth requires money. Money comes from sponsorships, media deals, technological partnerships. AI companies have deep pockets and are desperate for positive associations with trusted brands and personalities. From a pure business perspective, these partnerships make perfect sense. But the WNBA's brand isn't built on pure business logic. It's built on values, on authenticity, on being the league that cares about more than just profit. And every time a player or team makes a decision that prioritizes money over those values, or appears to, they chip away at the foundation of what makes the WNBA culturally distinctive. The commentator references Terminator and Skynet, joking about the AI apocalypse. But underneath the humor, there's a real anxiety. What happens when the league that prided itself on human connection starts replacing that connection with algorithms? What happens when the players who built their brands on authenticity start outsourcing their public personas to digital twins? These aren't hypothetical questions anymore. Kelsey Plum's AI twin exists. The Fever is using AI-generated content. Paige is promoting AI assistants. This is happening right now, and the backlash we're seeing isn't going to go away just because the technology improves or becomes more normalized. If anything, it's going to intensify. Because the WNBA's fan base is primed to view these developments through a moral lens. They're not evaluating AI based on efficiency or capability, they're evaluating it based on values and principles.